Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive that's sure to make some waves. We're going to Atlantis.
Atlantis. Sounds exciting.
Yeah, well, we're not just rehashing those old stories about a sunken city.
Okay. What's the twist then?
This time we're looking at it through the lens of the Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood.
Ah, that modern group that claims to hold the keys to this ancient wisdom.
Exactly.
That's a really unique perspective for sure. I'm interested to see where this goes.
Me too. And what's really cool is that our source material for this deep dive is an excerpt from a text written by their founder, Grand Master WaXhira. It's this awesome mix of ancient wisdom and ideas that honestly still feel relevant today.
That's what's so fascinating about these ancient traditions. They speak to something timeless in us.
Right. It's like a knowledge time warp.
I like that.
So what's their take on Atlantis?
Well, the Brotherhood sees Atlantis not as a cautionary tale, but as a source of knowledge.
A source of knowledge that can help us navigate the complexities of modern life. I like that.
Yeah, it's less about the lost city and more about the lessons we can learn from it.
Okay, so less about flying machines and laser beams and more about a way of being.
Yeah, more about a philosophy of life that emphasizes things like interconnectedness, responsible innovation, and a deeper connection to the divine.
So it's less about the nuts and bolts of their tech, which honestly we still know very little about,
Right.
and more about the core principles that made Atlantean society so, well, legendary.
Exactly. It's about understanding those principles, because they might actually hold the answers to some of the big problems we're facing today.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Spill the beans. What are these powerful Atlantean principles?
Well, Grand Master WaXhira outlines 4 key pillars of Atlantean wisdom.
4 pillars. Got it.
The first is the concept of unity and interconnectedness. So imagine a society where everyone and everything is seen as part of a single web, all connected. People, nature, the cosmos.
Okay, so the opposite of the every man for himself mentality we see so much these days?
Exactly. And it's an idea that really resonates with the environmental crises and social divisions we're facing today.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like we've forgotten that we're all in this together.
Right. And the Brotherhood argues that remembering our interconnectedness, that's key to creating a more harmonious and sustainable world.
All right, makes sense. That's pillar number 1. What's the second pillar all about?
The second pillar focuses on knowledge and technology, but with a twist.
A twist.
The Brotherhood isn't fixated on digging up some long-lost Atlantean tech.
They're not.
No. Instead, they emphasize responsible innovation. It's about blending ancient wisdom with modern advancements.
So it's like taking the best of the old and merging it with the cutting edge of the new.
You got it.
That's pretty cool. I can dig that.
Right. Imagine applying that principle to things like renewable energy, or to medicine, even artificial intelligence. That could lead to some really groundbreaking solutions.
Wow, now that's what I call thinking outside the sunken city. Okay, 2 down, 2 to go. What's next?
This one might surprise you.
Oh, lay it on me.
It's spiritual enlightenment.
Spiritual enlightenment. Okay, that's not what I was expecting, but I'm listening.
So for Atlanteans, spirituality wasn't just about rituals or dogma. It was woven into their everyday life.
So less about organized religion and more about a personal experience of the sacred.
Yes, and the Brotherhood believes we can tap into that same sense of deeper meaning, even in our modern lives.
Okay, I can see how that would be powerful in a world that often feels chaotic and disconnected.
Exactly. This focus on spiritual growth could be a powerful antidote to that feeling of emptiness.
It's like that old saying, it's not about having what you want, it's about wanting what you have.
Yes, it's about appreciating the present moment and finding that sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves.
Okay, one last pillar to go. What's the final piece of the Atlantean puzzle?
The fourth pillar is education and knowledge sharing. Picture a society where knowledge isn't hoarded but freely exchanged, where learning is a lifelong pursuit for everyone.
I'm getting strong knowledge is power vibes here.
It is about power, the power to empower. It's about building a society where everyone has access to the tools they need to thrive.
So it's about more than just information. It's about creating a more just and enlightened society. A brighter future for everyone.
Precisely. The Brotherhood believes that widespread education, open access to information, and a culture of knowledge sharing, those are the keys to creating a truly thriving society.
Okay, so we've got unity, responsible innovation, spiritual connection, and widespread knowledge. That's a pretty solid foundation for a society, if you ask me.
It really is. It's a holistic approach to life.
Yeah.
One that addresses the needs of the individual, the community, and the planet.
That all sounds amazing in theory, But how does the Brotherhood actually bring these lofty Atlantean ideals to life today? What does it look like in practice?
That's where things get really interesting. They've taken these ancient concepts and translated them into action in some really key areas. And one of the most prominent is education.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, they were big on knowledge sharing, so I bet the Brotherhood has some strong opinions about how we approach education today.
Oh yeah, they definitely do.
So they're not just advocating for longer school days or more homework.
No, not at all.
What's their vision?
They're championing a holistic approach to education, one that nurtures not just the intellect, but also the emotional and spiritual development of a person.
It's less about memorizing facts and more about becoming a well-rounded human being, someone who can actually engage with the complexities of the world.
Exactly. It's about fostering critical thinking, encouraging creativity, cultivating a sense of wonder.
That's fantastic. But what about the other areas where the Brotherhood is applying these Atlantean principles? What else is on their agenda?
Well, one area that's close to their hearts is environmental stewardship. Remember that Atlantean emphasis on living in harmony with nature?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They've made that principle a central focus of their work today.
So I'm guessing they have a lot to say about our current environmental crisis?
They do. They see it as a direct result of our disconnect from nature, our focus on profit over the well-being of our planet.
Oof, that hits close to home.
It does. And that's why their focus on sustainable practices and renewable energy feels so timely.
It's like they're saying, hey, we've got this incredible planet. Let's learn from the Atlanteans and figure out how to live in balance with it.
Exactly. And it's not just about advocating for policy changes. They're inspiring people to make conscious choices in their daily lives, too.
Choices like reducing our carbon footprint, supporting businesses that care about the environment.
Right. It's about those individual actions that can add up to collective change.
I love that. Okay, so we've covered education and environmentalism, but what about the whole ancient wisdom meets cutting-edge technology thing? We've all heard the tales of Atlantean super tech.
Right. But I don't think they're advocating for us to go back to some mythical golden age of gadgets.
They're not.
No, they see technology as a powerful tool, one that can elevate humanity or enslave it.
That's a powerful way to put it. So how do they envision the future of technology?
It's not about replicating Atlantean tech. It's about harnessing the power of innovation responsibly and ethically.
So instead of focusing on rebuilding crystal-powered spaceships, they're more concerned with making sure our technological advancements actually benefit humanity.
Exactly. It's about ensuring that technology serves a higher purpose, a tool for healing, for connection, for progress.
This is so fascinating. It's like science fiction meets ancient wisdom. But what I find really inspiring is that they're not just interested in creating cool new gadgets. They're committed to using these advancements to make the world a better place.
I agree. It's about more than just the tech itself. It's about the intention behind it.
Okay, there's one last piece of the puzzle we haven't talked about yet. Community building. We touched on it earlier.
Right, that Atlantean emphasis on unity and collaboration.
Exactly. And I'm curious to learn how the Brotherhood is fostering that sense of connection and belonging in our modern world. After all, strong communities were a cornerstone of Atlantean society.
They were. And the Brotherhood recognizes that. They believe that strong, interconnected communities are vital for both individual and collective growth.
So it's not just about personal enlightenment, it's about creating a supportive network where we can all learn and grow together.
Exactly. It's about creating spaces where knowledge is shared, where wisdom is cultivated, where people can connect on a deeper level. And they're doing this in a variety of ways.
This is all so inspiring. I'm really blown away by how the Brotherhood has taken these ancient principles and woven them into a modern movement that's addressing some of the biggest challenges of our time.
It really is remarkable. They're not just dreaming of a better world. They're actively building it. One project, one community, one innovation at a time.
Well, listeners, buckle up, because we're about to take this deep dive to a whole new level.
Oh.
Welcome back, everyone. Before the break, we were talking about how the Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood is putting those ancient Atlantean principles into action in the real world.
Yeah, and now we're going to get into the specifics of how they're doing that. Less talk, more action, right?
Exactly. Where should we start?
Well, let's pick up where we left off. Remember that emphasis on education?
Oh, yeah. The fourth pillar, knowledge sharing and all that.
Right. That's where the rubber really hits the road for the Brotherhood.
I was hoping you'd say that. So what makes their approach to education so different? Are they just advocating for longer school days?
No. Their approach is much more, well, Holistic.
Holistic.
Yeah, like they've created these things called Atlantean learning circles. They're like small groups
Yeah.
where people of all ages can come together
Okay.
and
Good.
explore a specific topic, but through multiple lenses. So imagine studying renewable energy. But you're not just looking at it from a scientific perspective. You're also exploring the cultural, ethical, and spiritual dimensions of it.
Wow, that's so cool. It's like they're weaving together different threads of understanding.
Exactly. It's about seeing the interconnectedness of knowledge.
I love that. So what else are they doing?
Well, they've also developed this really cool curriculum for young children. It's called Seeds of Wisdom, and it focuses on things like imagination and empathy.
Seeds of wisdom, that's adorable.
Right. It's about cultivating a sense of wonder and a deep connection with the natural world, all through things like storytelling and hands-on experiences.
Okay, that sounds amazing. It's like they're nurturing those seeds of curiosity that kids naturally have.
Exactly. It's all about encouraging them to become lifelong learners. And it aligns perfectly with that Atlantean emphasis on holistic education, right?
Absolutely. It's about nurturing the whole child, not just their academic abilities.
Right.
Okay, so that's education. What about the environmental stewardship stuff we were talking about before?
Oh, yeah. The Brotherhood has some really interesting initiatives in that area, too.
Give me the highlights.
Okay, so one project that stands out is their Green Atlantis project.
Green Atlantis, what's that?
It's a global network of eco-villages.
Eco-villages.
Yeah. And sustainable communities that are basically designed to be models for what regenerative living could look like.
Oh, wow. So they're not just talking about sustainability. They're actually creating real-world examples of it.
Exactly. And they're experimenting with all sorts of cool stuff, like permaculture and renewable energy.
I've heard a little bit about permaculture, but tell me more about it.
It's a way of designing agricultural systems that are modeled after natural ecosystems. So it's all about working with nature, not against it.
That sounds amazing. Are they sharing this knowledge with others?
Oh yeah, for sure. They offer workshops, courses, even online resources. They want to empower others to create more sustainable ways of life.
That's awesome. It's like they're creating this ripple effect of positive change. Okay, we've talked about education. We've talked about environmentalism. What about the whole blending ancient wisdom and cutting-edge technology thing? What does that look like in action?
One area where they're really pushing the boundaries is in the field of biomimicry.
Biowater.
Biomimicry. It's basically about taking inspiration from nature to solve human problems.
Oh, I think I've heard of that. Like using the design of a bird's wing to inspire airplane wings?
Exactly. It's about
Uh,
learning from nature's designs and applying those principles to technology.
That's so cool. So what kind of projects are they working on?
One project they're working on right now is inspired by deep sea creatures.
Deep sea creatures.
Yeah, the ones that are bioluminescent.
The ones that glow in the dark.
Yes. They're using that principle of bioluminescence to try and develop more energy-efficient lighting systems.
That's incredible. Harnessing the power of natural light without needing electricity. That's straight out of an Atlantean legend.
Right. It's like they're taking a page from the Atlantean playbook, using technology to enhance our lives while still respecting the natural world.
Okay, so they're looking to nature for inspiration. What other kinds of technologies are they interested in?
Well, they're also exploring sound healing technologies.
Sound healing.
Yeah, it's based on ancient practices that use sound and vibration for healing purposes. And the Brotherhood is finding ways to apply those principles with modern technology.
This is all so mind-blowing. Science fiction meets ancient wisdom. But what I find most inspiring is that they're not just developing this tech for the sake of it. They're committed to using it to benefit humanity.
Totally agree. It's not about creating gadgets just for the sake of it. It's about using technology to create a more just, sustainable, and harmonious world.
That's really inspiring. Okay, last but not least, we need to talk about community building. We touched on this earlier, but I'd love to dive a little deeper into how the Brotherhood is fostering that sense of connection and belonging that was so central to Atlantean society.
Well, beyond those learning circles and eco-villages we talked about, they've also created this network of, they call them wisdom hubs.
Wisdom hubs, what are those?
They're physical spaces where people can gather, to connect with others, share knowledge, practice mindfulness and meditation, and participate in workshops and events.
So it's kind of like a modern-day version of those Atlantean temples of learning and spiritual growth.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. They really see these wisdom hubs as vital spaces for fostering community and providing support for people on their spiritual journeys.
It's awesome that they're creating these spaces for people to connect in real life, but not everyone has access to a physical wisdom hub, right?
Right. And that's why they also host online forums and virtual gatherings. So people who don't have a physical hub nearby can still connect with others and share their experiences.
I love that. It's like they're using technology to extend that sense of community beyond geographical boundaries, creating a global network of people who are all committed to these Atlantean principles.
Exactly. And what's really cool is that they don't just focus on their own members. They also collaborate with other organizations and individuals who share their values.
So it's about building bridges and fostering collaboration across different communities and disciplines. I love that. It's a beautiful example of how that Atlantean principle of unity can be applied in the real world.
It really is. It's about bringing people together to address common challenges and create a brighter future for all.
It's easy to get caught up in the romanticism of Atlantis, but what strikes me most about the Brotherhood is that they're not just dreamers, they're doers. They're taking these ancient principles and translating them into concrete actions that are making a real difference in the world.
I agree. They're not just talking the talk.
Yeah.
They're walking the walk.
And that's what makes their work so inspiring. It shows that ancient wisdom isn't just something to be studied and admired, it's a living force that can guide us towards a better future.
Absolutely. And I think that's a perfect segue into the final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore how you can apply this wisdom in your own life.
Yes, we've been on this incredible journey uncovering these powerful principles, but now it's time to see how we can integrate those ideas into our own unique lives. All right, fellow explorers, welcome back for the final leg of our journey. We've delved into the myths, explored the Brotherhood's philosophy, and even seen how they're putting those ideas into action.
And now it's time to bring it all home.
Home.
Yeah. How can you, the listener, apply all this to your life? How can you tap into that Atlantean spirit?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's been amazing exploring all this, but honestly, living like a modern-day Atlantean sounds a little intimidating.
You can feel that way.
Yeah. So where do we even start?
Well, the beauty of the Brotherhood's teachings is that they're not about instant transformation. They encourage a gradual approach. Small steps.
Okay, that feels a lot less overwhelming. But what might those first steps actually look like?
Start by thinking about those 4 pillars. Which one really speaks to you? Where do you feel drawn to grow? Is it that connection with nature? Or maybe it's technology. Maybe you're craving deeper meaning.
I love that. We don't have to do everything at once. Just pick one thing that feels right for you.
Exactly. And once you've got that focus, think of one small action you can take today. One tiny step to bring that principle to life.
Okay, so like maybe it's spending 15 minutes in nature, just observing.
Perfect example. Or maybe it's supporting a local business that's doing things ethically.
Or even making an effort to really listen during conversations. You know, honoring different perspectives. That's like that Atlantean value of knowledge sharing, right?
Exactly. Start small, stay consistent, and be patient. Transformation is a journey, not a destination.
Ooh, I like that. A journey. But what about the bigger picture? What happens if more of us start living by these principles?
The Brotherhood believes it creates a ripple effect. It impacts our relationships, our communities, the world. Imagine if more people embrace these values.
A world with more collaboration, more compassion. It's a beautiful vision, but can it really happen? The world feels so messed up sometimes.
The Brotherhood believes it can. They see these challenges as opportunities for growth.
So it's not about reaching some perfect utopia.
Right. It's about evolving.
Yeah.
As individuals and as a society.
And they're giving us a roadmap, a way to move towards a future that reflects that Atlantean wisdom. It's amazing how relevant all this feels.
It is. And that's what's so powerful about ancient wisdom. It speaks to something timeless in us.
You know, it's funny. I started this deep dive thinking about sunken cities and mysteries, but we've uncovered something so much bigger. A way to live, a set of values that can help us all navigate this crazy world.
And with more wisdom, more compassion, more purpose.
It's like Atlantis is resurfacing at just the right time, offering us a way forward, a path to a future that's not just sustainable, but fulfilling.
And that's what we want to leave you with today. Hope. Possibility. The legacy of Atlantis isn't just about a lost city. It's about a timeless wisdom, a wisdom that lives in each of us.
So as we wrap up this incredible deep dive, think about what resonated with you. What small step can you take?
Remember, even the tiniest ripple can create a wave of change. Your journey starts now.
Thanks for joining us on this adventure. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep shining your light.